Hello and welcome to another segment of Love Revolution, where we're showing you all kinds of amazing things about love, self-love, self-discovery, and even love and relationships, love and money. So all these will be spread out throughout these lovely 2 weeks. So we're grateful and happy that you're joining us. And I'm Mia Saenz, your host. And with me across, or next to me on the screen, she's across from me, is Sarah Ouellette. And I'm going to introduce you to her in a second. She's going to teach the show. But in the meantime, remember, if you need to hit pause to get your yummy drink that we start out every class with, and your notepads and your pens or colored pens, whatever you'd like to just be present and relax and do your breathing before you start, and then hit play and watch us. So Sarah is an attorney, which is pretty awesome, and she's a transition relationship coach. So she has a lot of amazing stuff to share with us. And now it's my turn to just relax and just say, take it away, Sarah.
I know. I love being the interviewer. It's so fun. You just sit and learn and enjoy.
Yeah.
This is great. This is great. Hello, everybody. I'm ecstatic to be here. And I love that this is the Love Retreat, because really it's amazing that I got into the work that I do by being a divorce attorney. And when you think of divorce, you think of love breaking up, love going away, love leaving you in the dumps. But really, I've been blessed to be able to find a way where people will allow my message in, will allow the message to touch them and inspire them, and allow love back in during that time, which is amazing.
It is.
So cool. So what I do is I help people embrace the death, embrace the old, embrace the now, embrace who they are now, what is now, accept it, and then allow the truth of this moment to open them up to the love that is available for them in the here and the now. So with that comes a whole bunch of power, amazing transformation, and yummy, juicy, amazing fun. But it takes you being able to go to that place, be brave enough to just say, okay, let's look at what is right now. Let's look at the truth, and let's let what's done be done. Let it die. Don't hold on anymore. So that's what I do as a relationship and transitions coach. And people don't practice law this way. And it was hard for me to step into that. I had to allow my own death to occur. And that death was me seeing that the way that I was taught to practice law, the way that I was practicing law, the way that I was trying to control and manipulate and, grasp on to how other people they were succeeding, wasn't working for me. And it was in accepting that and then going down to, okay, what isn't working for me? What is my truth? And just letting what wasn't my truth die, that I found my love again. So when you're watching this, all of you beautiful, amazing people who are watching me here, I want to walk you through an exercise or a truth where you can allow what is no longer serving you to die, let go, and embrace the love that's here in that power of acceptance. And a beautiful way that I help people do this is this one amazing sentence. First and foremost, I want you to write on your piece of paper with your multicolored markers, is that everything matters. That's the very first thing. Now that your pen is on the page, I want you to continue writing this one sentence. Break the code and create meaningful and mutually beneficial relationships through Maximization 101. Break the code and create meaningful and mutually beneficial relationships through Maximization 101. Every single one of those words was purposefully picked for a reason. Just like every single word uttered, word heard, thing saw, emotion experienced, every single thing in your life happens for a reason. And I'm going to go out on a limb and I'm going to tell you that it's my truth and my experience that every single thing that happens is happening for me. That means everything that is happening in your life is happening for you. So you really need to pay attention. And let's go through them really quick because I know we have a limited amount of time. But we need to pay attention to where your gaps are in this truth. So break the code. I love this because everything is a process, okay? Everything has code. And I love to think about this process as your computer programmer. And if you've ever played with, setting up a website or, you've worked with computers, in your work or maybe in school, you notice that if you are writing code or if you read code, like it's a whole bunch of like little periods and numbers and weird things, if there's even a slight break in it or an error or you use the wrong dot or whatever, there's an entire error message and something is funky and it just doesn't turn out right. So if something in your life isn't working the way that you feel completely immersed in love, fully supported, beyond this earth, happy in a sense of peace and bliss, you need to break the code. And the code is what is creating what you're experiencing right now. So you need to look at everything that's happening right now because it's all happening for you. There will be some kind of truth, some hint, some inspiration, something that will speak to you. And if you are open and in the state of allowance where you're going to let whatever's not working go and die, you will be prepared, you will be supported, and you will be in a place where you can see it, step into it, and use it. So breaking the code is, you'll find it's breaking habits, breaking behaviors, breaking thoughts, processes, breaking, patterns. You'll see that, but it could be other things. First and foremost, you need to understand that everything is happening for a reason, and it's because of what you're doing. So you got to highlight that and look and pay attention to that. The next thing is to create meaningful. And I love this because like my work before responsibility coaching, before I let the old way of practicing die, I wasn't really connected to that. And that's a great way for you to have a hint of what's not working. Where in your life is this love lost? We're on this love retreat. Where is it lost? And you'll notice where it's lost when you're just not there. You're not present. I mean, I remember driving to work and, getting to work, pulling into the driveway and being like, how the hell did I even get here? Like, I wasn't even present driving. Like, I didn't even remember myself taking off the exit or going off the exit. So where is the place where you don't feel connected? You don't feel like you're truly here, you're truly giving all of yourself. You don't feel authentic. As an attorney, I felt like I was acting. Where are you acting in your life? You have to leave your house and put on a suit or clothes that just don't feel like you. You need to, pick up the phone and all of a sudden your voice changes and you go into a script, but you're not being real. Where are you doing that in your life? Are you just going out on dates just to distract yourself from the real work that needs to be done? Are you really not being there to learn about other people or maybe to feel and see what this person is mirroring to you that you can understand about yourself? So you want to create meaning, which means you need to feel. You need to feel. You need to really be in your life and say, why is this happening? What is this doing to me? How is this affecting me? And then, do I like it? Do I not like it? What can I learn about this experience? Mutually beneficial. We'll go through all the words first, and then we'll talk. Mutually beneficial, think win-win. I love this. Stephen R. Covey, one of my favorites. For me, he coined the slogan. And think win-win is really understanding that when I show up in a higher vibration, I'm going to see that vibration and experience that a vibration from everywhere. So it's, you know, I just did this yesterday. I was doing a project which I don't enjoy doing. I need to delegate this soon. But when you're doing like a mundane thing that you have to in order to survive, but you're just like, I hate doing this, I could find myself getting into this energy of like frustration, like, oh, I need to look for something, like, where did I put this? And when I'm there, I'm not in love at all. And I could feel myself being in fear of like, I really don't know how to do this. I don't like to do this. And I could feel my energy switch. You could feel yourself switch when you're in an argument with somebody or when you're afraid, okay? Mutually beneficial is noticing that and taking care of your own shit. So before I go out in a relationship, I interact with somebody, I approach a project or something in my life, I want to make sure that I am in an energy where it's going to be a win-win. Because what I put out, I'm going to get back. So I really want to make sure that I clean up my energy and I make the switch and I notice, okay, I might not like doing this, but find one thing that you're grateful for. Find one thing that you could be proud of. Or, you know, say, you know what, I'm thankful that this is like the 4th time that I'm doing this, and it's going to be a lot easier than it was the other 3 times. You know, find something to make that switch, because as soon as you do that, all that negativity can't linger, it can't last, it can't consume you. But if you don't make that switch, it will consume you. Then you go out, you're going to get a phone call, somebody's going to call you while you're doing that project. Maybe you'll go out to lunch before that project is done. If you don't make that switch, that energy will consume and linger and then, you know, go off into these other relationships. So think win-win, mutually beneficial. Make sure that you are always in this higher vibration of love. You can always get yourself there. And notice that if you're not there, you can make the switch pretty quick. Relationships. Relationships, I call these our energetic classroom. I love it. Relationships are everywhere, but they give us teachings and lessons and learnings in every single interaction. And I'm not just talking about relationships with people. I'm talking about my relationship with the wind and the sand at the ocean, my relationship with this cup of coffee. Like, how open am I to receive all of this love? You know, it's the relationship that will teach you if you pay attention, because everything is our mirror. Everything is, you know, willing to contribute to us, but are we willing to receive? It's beautiful. So the fact that I'm working in relationships, I mean, you can't survive without relationships. It's just impossible. Through Maximization 101, maximization is amazing. The way I talk about it is, are you willing to see everything? Okay? Maximize what you can see. So many of us want to just see solutions or just see problems, or I just want to focus on this one thing. But really, in order to break the code and, you know, create this win-win, to find ways to be in this higher vibration as much as possible, we have to be willing and open ourselves up to being vulnerable enough so that we can see everything. The good, the bad, the ugly, being unattached and just in this no judgment zone where I can see it all and then choose accordingly. And if you just make up your mind that you only want to see, you know, I saw this with a lot of my clients while I was practicing law. You know, he'd be a great father, and he would want to do, you know, a full custody where they equally shared. And you're just like, well, that won't work. Can you do that? Like, people used to ask me, you know, what are my rights according to a law, okay, which has nothing to do with your family. But if you're saying, okay, I'm coming to an attorney because they know the rules, and the rules are the only way that I can divorce, okay, you're already limited. There's no maximization there. Like, you need to open yourself up and say, okay, I might live in this state, they might have certain laws, but this is my family, and if I really think about what I want and set that intention and open myself up to see everything that is possible, I just might be able to find it. I might be able to figure it out. Instead of going to somebody and saying, okay, this is what I want, but tell me, what are my rights? What is possible?
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you how many times it's happened to me. So really, just from the get-go, believe that everything is possible. Believe that what you want really can occur. Believe that you are more than enough. Because the truth is, you have within you and around you everything you need to create everything that you desire. But you need to be in a place to maximize, to see it all. So many times this is great. I practice Kundalini yoga. I just started about a year ago. But I love this. Kundalini yoga has opened up my eyes to the fact that there are 10 bodies around us. One of the 10 bodies is physical, our physical body. The 9 other bodies that we have to work with, okay, are angelic. There are our prana. There are our negative mind, our positive mind. There are all these other bodies. They're angelic, okay? But we don't tap into that. If we don't see it, hear it, smell it, can't feel it, it's not useful to us. At least that's why, a lot of us were already limited. So open yourself up to all, using everything you have within and around you. Open yourself up to that so you can maximize and see and then choose accordingly. 101 is the last piece of this. Maximization through, or to do all this through maximization 101. The first one is here in the now. There's one moment, and it's this one. It's not the past. It's not the future. This moment is all you'll need, and it's where all of your power is. Then there's a 0, which means be in this space, this nothingness, this no attachment, no judgment. You just be there. Recognize that there's this moment, and then there's time and there's space to think about, what's mutually beneficial to me? Where's this meaning? What does this mean for me? Okay, where do I want to go? You have this space, you have this time, but you need to take it. And then the last one is understanding that then comes another moment. Even if you make what you would consider a wrong choice, or you didn't know what you were working with, or you made a mistake according to your own beliefs, okay? You'll have an opportunity after you get some space to make that choice again. Even if you feel like you didn't learn everything you needed to learn, it'll come again. That's the beauty of love. That's what we all have to work here with, and that's a miracle of life. So honestly, all I want everybody to understand is that 3 things. So summarize, here's 3 things. First and foremost, every single thing matters. I want you to remember that. And when you feel overwhelmed, I want you to break it down. What am I overwhelmed about? Secondly, break the code, create meaningful and mutually beneficial relationships through maximization 101. It's as easy as that. And if you noticed, what I did was I broke down every single word because everything matters. Last but not least, understand that everything is love. If you choose to see it, feel it, allow it in, and approach life that way, that's all you'll receive. So, how did I do?
That was awesome. That was awesome. And the energy and love and passion you have behind it is remarkable. It's beautiful.
Thank you. Well, it's so true. And I hope that everybody who's watching this can see it and feel it and take it in, because that energy, it really is. That's the vibration that I try to live my life in. So if you're feeling that energy, take it. Allow it to, bask in that energy,
I love that you were talking about that, because not everybody understands exactly what you're saying. When we bring ourselves to that place of love and empowerment, because love does have an empowering feeling, we can create from there. We can live and bring in amazing things. But when we step out of that, we don't. So to bring that and keep that in and to be aware of that space is so vital, isn't it? It really is vital. Everything matters. I love to, well, I don't like not being in that space, of course, but I always work on bringing myself into my right alignment. And there are times when we all get out of it, and then I have to recenter. So what you're saying is recenter all the time. Bring yourself to that place. And it is a lovely feeling to be empowered. And I also like how you told everybody to be aware of these steps, because so many people don't get that when they're in an empowered space that they've put themselves in, it's magic. It really is. It's magic. And then when we're not in that space, we're in the less than stage. And nobody wants to be in the less than stage.
Yeah, no, that's so
awesome.
True. That's so
true.
This
is wonderful.
You know, one thing I want to share with, because I think people, anecdotes and stories kind of connect. Mm-hmm. We talked about basking in that energy, and it's so important, because that's the whole thing about relationships, is that if we're in a space where we're misaligned or we feel that we're not in that high vibration, you can come across somebody who can bring you into that vibration if you'll allow it. So I was just in the Midwest, and I had the experience of sharing compliments with 3 people that had really inspired me enough to want to share that with them. And I had an interesting experience with 3 of them, but I'll talk to you about one. So there was this one woman who went home, and part of her childhood was doing archery things, bow and arrow. And so she went home without even training or anything. She entered this competition with 400 archers, and she placed 9th out of 400. That blew my mind. I was like, and I hadn't spoken to her in a couple of months. So when she was telling me this story, I was in awe. I was excited for her. So my energy was raised because she was inspiring me by what she was able to accomplish. So I tried to give that back to her in a way of a compliment. And I was just like, holy cow, that is awesome. Did you get a medal? What was it like? And then she automatically just killed it. And she said, it's really no big deal. It's fine. It was just 9th, no big deal. On to the next. And that was it. She didn't want to speak about it. Nothing. So, and you see that around her too. She's never good at anything, at least what she was able to speak to me about in that conversation. Mm-hmm. It's always, I could be better, things could be so much better. But it was interesting how I was willing, and I was in a place where I was inspired to be in this energy with her. She inspired me to get there, and then I was giving it to her. And if she would have accepted it and just said and allowed it to really, radiate in her body, wow, actually, this is pretty good out of 400. I'm badass. That's pretty awesome. Yeah. And we could have talked about it. She could have said, I've done this before, never did it this well, or, this is how I learned. We could have been in that energy for, at least 10 minutes. Mm-hmm. But it's interesting. How do you receive compliments? How do you feel
it takes
when
a
you
long
get them?
It takes a long time for people to receive them, doesn't it? They have to build and accept. It's really a tool unto itself that we have to learn. Yep. Is the receiving. Yep. She obviously was not a receiver, and I know when people give me compliments, now I try to stop, absorb it, think about it, and say thank you. I mean, there are so many times people give me compliments that it just, it's almost like in the beginning, it was almost like, well, if I don't respond, then it didn't happen, that kind of thing. So it's getting outside of, it's stepping away from who we are. And a lot of women are caregivers, so when you're a caregiver, you don't tend to receive. You have to develop that quality. So you're absolutely right about what kind of energy could she have been in for 10 minutes or more by allowing herself to be graced with what you gave her.
Yeah. And noticing, too, that when Two things. One, I love how you said you almost have to witness the compliment. Like it happens because you're like, okay, how do I feel when compliments happen to me? And, do I want to bask in it? And if you can't bask in it, you almost have to witness it and see it and then allow yourself to step in. So that's one thing I want everybody to hear, because I think what you said was amazing. But another thing, too, is when you're giving it and you notice that it's not received, then you still have to do a little work on yourself, because I felt myself automatically wanting to go to, did I say something wrong, or am I missing something? Because I was in a high energy. I was excited. I gave it to her. She wasn't able to receive it. She kicked it back to me, but it was low energy. And then that hit me like a ton of bricks. So it was kind of like, okay, well, if I want to continue to be at least where I was before I was in conversation with this person, I need to break my own code now, okay? And understand, okay, this isn't my stuff, or I didn't do anything wrong, or maybe I did, then I should apologize. But it's that constant, mutually beneficial. You need to work on making sure everything really works for you, even when it doesn't work for somebody else.
The reason I switched over to recognizing and then feeling it is because I realized it was unloving to not give somebody. They graced me with a gift, and I didn't accept it. So learning how to accept compliments is a tool in which we have to develop. And it depends on what level you're at in your own insecurities, confidences, whatever, And obviously, when we give a compliment to somebody and it's not received, we know from when we were at a certain level that it's an insecurity. It's a non-belief of what somebody's saying. So opening it up to love. That's why I love women like you, and I love to give compliments to people too. I love to walk up to people that, don't you do this too? Like, you'll see somebody at a restaurant and they're gorgeous, and you just know that you want to tell them, you're so beautiful in that dress.
Yeah.
There's no reason why we can't honor other women, And the thing about that is a lot of beautiful women, physically beautiful women, don't get compliments. So some of them don't realize that some of them are very shy. They're girl next doors. They've never heard it. Or people think that beautiful women get tons of compliments. So why should I waste my time sharing it with her? That's not true. That's not true at all. I hear so many women who say, wow, thank you. That's really great.
I love it. Owning it. I was just on the phone with a woman yesterday, really, really quick. And she said during a time that she was going through her own divorce, and it was really, really rough for her, she came across this guy who lived in another state, and he went to go visit her, and they spent a short period of time together. And she said, he was the one guy who saw me, and I felt it. And it wasn't that I was an attorney. It wasn't that, I had accomplished anything. It was he saw me at my core. And, so many times there are people who say, to me, like, you're so happy, like, I love your energy, or, it's an interesting way to look at it. Like, that's me, that's my soul. And when somebody says that to me, it helps me understand how I create meaning for other people. It helps me understand what's authentic to me. It helps me understand how I could feel more love and how I could share more love. So again, everything matters. And I'm thinking of, one woman who, I love her style. I love, her closet. I could wear everything in her closet. And it's, being able to say, hey, that looks amazing. Where did you get that? I love how, did you coordinate that yourself? Because, I don't have that gift. But it's when I shared that compliment that she said, yeah, actually, I'm really good at this stuff. Like, I was a designer, and now I use her, I pick her brain all the time at, how do I pick things that bring out my eyes, But you don't know unless you share what is, like, wanting to come out of your body.
Exactly. That's awesome. And to not feel uncomfortable to share and be who we are with other women like you did. Hey, that's cool. I want one too. I love
Help
that.
Help me.
And it's awesome to just be who we are, and that's, I really love this segment with you, because it's all about being who we are and claiming who we are. And that's so important to allow us to do that as women, as spiritual beings, as human beings, the whole gamut. It's really important for us to do that. So thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Now, you have something special for us.
Yes. Oh, my God. Okay, so my free gift.
In addition to the specialness that you already gave us.
I love you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Yes, so my free gift is really awesome because it reminds me, and it'll remind you of everything you have to work with as a soul living a human experience. And I call it the Power Symbols Training Series. There's 5 videos, and they will help you understand that your power is what you have as being the creator. You can expand, you can create, you have energy to work with, and what energy you play with is your choice. And last but not least, you are a soul, and that essence of you is here for a purpose, and it has specific gifts. So that Power Symbols training will help you create mutually beneficial relationships. So really help you and empower your relationships by learning more about the soul that you are and what you have to use to just create more love in your life. So
that's awesome.
That's my gift.
Awesome. Yay! That sounds wonderful. Thank you. Well, it was really a pleasure to have you here, Sarah, and we just have a lot of door banging going on. I think that they're welcoming you. Yay! So it was wonderful to have you on. Thank you so much for joining us.
Oh, thank you so much, Mia. Everybody have an amazing day.
Thank you, everybody, and we'll see you in another segment. Bye.
Bye.